Hi guys, I'm Yusuke at Karate Dojo in Japan, and today we have a special guest, Darryl Vidal from Karate Kid 1. And I think I think Chris mentioned your name in Cobra Kai as well, right? Was
Yeah,
it season
season three. Yeah,
3?
they talked about me. Yeah,
Yes. How I think Johnny had a difficult time fighting you at the All
right.
Valley tournament. So today we're going to be interviewing him about his impression of Cobra Kai 4 and what we thought about the fighting scenes and the story itself. So let's get started.
Because you watched them in order, right? You watched the
Yes, I
Karate Kid
did.
movies first, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Yeah, so there's so much '80s, pop culture in those 3 movies.
Uh-huh.
And then you were also right. You lived in America, right?
Yes, I did. For
Yeah,
five years.
Yeah, so you get some of the Americanized jokes.
Uh-huh.
Probably, and then with Cobra Kai, they go back and refer to a lot of those things.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, okay.
Yes. Yeah. First, I guess I was looking forward for the karate aspects only, like the fighting scenes and those scenes mainly. But then as I started looking, watching the movies and watching throughout all the series, like the story part and the cultural part, like I understood it a lot. And now I know why everybody's so excited and like love this whole thing.
Right.
And
right.
the 80s jokes, I mean, I was born in 97, so I did not get a lot of it.
Yeah.
So like on my reaction videos, I would be like, wait, what does this mean? And then everybody would be going crazy, like, how do you not know Metallica, the band?
Right.
Metallica. Is that a real band? I didn't know them at all. I mean, coming from a Japanese background, I only lived there for 5 years. My parents are Japanese. They have no idea what it was like in the 80s in the States. So all those, something new for me.
Yeah,
always new.
It's very interesting because I'm born and raised here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a bit older than you, so I was in my 20s in the 80s, right?
Right. So you
I
remember it all, right?
Yeah, and when I go back and watch like the original Karate Kid, because it comes on the television all the time, like 2 or 3 times a year, I'll be flipping.
Oh, really?
And it'll be on, or they'll play the 3 of them in a row, and it'll be for different reasons, like maybe a marathon or on Thanksgiving, or it'll just continue to appear,
right.
And then so I'll sit down and watch it, catch the scenes where I'm in it. And I keep forgetting and re-enjoying some of the humor and some of the nostalgia about.
Right.
It's a pretty funny movie, But you talk about the karate. I've always felt that the karate was, pure Hollywood karate. So.
Well, I think as the seasons went on from Cobra Kai season 1 to 4, I think the action scenes got a lot better, don't you think?
Yes. Well, I would say, and I don't want to, be too critical, right? But you can tell where the stunt people are.
You're a professional in that field.
Right. And and yourself too, because, when you really spar, and when somebody really spars and really is doing, martial arts, you can tell. And then when an actor's doing it, the actors, they don't get to spar because they don't want to they don't want them to get hurt.
Of course.
But when you don't spar, then you get this kind of
this weird
contrived karate that they don't know how to put power into it. They don't really block, or you do a takedown and they just flip it. Yeah, so you just go like that, you flip over.
Do you have any favorite scenes from? Did you watch season 4, right?
I've watched them all. Yeah.
So, do you have any favorite action scenes, fighting scenes from the season?
Well, I thought both of the tournaments, you could see some pretty good karate, right? You could tell that they would bring in students to represent, and some of it was more acrobatic. It wasn't really, what we would doing point system, you know that, when we're doing point system, it's kind of like tag, right? So you're you're kind of doing this back and forth, trying to get your shot, kind of surgically, right? But they're doing it to demonstrate some technique. They've got a guy who's got some pretty good kicks, so they let him just do his kicks, and then they do their blocking, and then they have the actors in there. You can see them. But I think they definitely are bringing in some talented stunt coordinators and fight choreographers as the seasons have gone on. And the actors have more experience. They seem to be training too, obviously. So you can't practice to do, like, for instance, the girl did the side kata. She had to practice some of that, so they are getting martial arts training, and that shows. So I did it. It's fun to watch.
Right. I think they must have hired a stunt person or a karate sensei, someone from a traditional background as well, because I saw some bunkai movements from Goju-ryu katas represented in the last tournament. I forgot exactly which movement it was, but it was very traditional karate-like. So I didn't really see that in season 1, 2, or 3. Maybe I'm mistaken.
In the tournament in season 2, remember, there was a big tournament at the end of season 2, right? Yes. The center judge, another Asian gentleman, I believe is one of the stunt coordinators. And so, if you see back in the references, he was one of the stunt coordinators. And so, that's where you saw, he didn't do the karate, but he obviously is training them. And that's where you would see, I thought. And then, but thinking about season 4, when the kids all, when they're all fighting each other, I don't remember anything particular, but, I think the storyline for 4 was better. Because in storyline for 3, it's like they're just getting in fights, It's like, they have high school martial arts gangs in Japan where they all fight each other and they hurt each other, put each other in the hospital. It's like that one to me was like, they can't keep doing this, so they go back and see. So in season 4 they kind of say, knock that off and let's get back to the tournament, focus on the tournament, and then the whole thing with I want to ask you about what you thought about the way Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fan, which is kind of like Cobra Kai, right? How when they were trying to teach, they had their little opposing philosophies. How did you like that?
Well, to start with, I think Miyagi-Do was there and then Johnny came in, right? So it is understandable from Daniel's perspective that he wants to take the lead, and that his philosophy is very strong. So it's like a religion. So he wants to let the kids know about that as well. But at the same time, defensive only or countering only, there are limits, obviously. Countering. This is just how I felt, but watching the Karate Kid movies, I didn't really feel like Miyagi-Do was only focused on defense. They mentioned do not strike first, or karate's defense only. They used that phrase, I think. But they used, he still attacked, or he would dodge to the side and throw a side roundhouse kick. But in Cobra Kai, there was a clear distinction between Cobra Kai style and Miyagi-Do. And Miyagi-Do is counter only. And and at the end, Sam learned both of them, and she
could switch it back and forth and say,
well, it doesn't work like that,
That struck me funny, is when she said, "Should I be using this?" and "Should I be using this?" Like, okay, well, it doesn't work that way.
and also, it was during the tournament then. Sam went up to Daniel, and she was like, "Which one should I use?" And then Daniel was like, "Do whatever you want." I was like, "Whoa!" could you say that? Like your star is confused, and he's just like, I know that was like the what the message was all about, like being yourself, but still, as a student, she must have been super confused, like, what am I supposed to do?
Right. I think it's sticking with the plot line that they're so distinct. But you and I know, and even Bruce Lee talked about how you take what you like and you use it, and it all becomes one, right? It's not like I'm doing this or I'm doing this. But then I thought about that because I was talking to somebody else about this, and we could say, okay, we're gonna go to a judo tournament, and then we would play by judo rules, right? And then we could go to a Muay Thai tournament, and we would do it that way too, right? We wouldn't necessarily try to do jiu-jitsu on the Muay Thai guy. Yeah. So I kind of challenged myself in saying you could turn it on and off. It's like, well, do that. Yeah.
I guess so. The footwork, I guess, is different. Miyagi-Do was more on like stable, not so many steps, right?
Right.
Like a lot of it in kokusudachi, they would do the movement from some traditional katas, but Cobra Kai is more light on the foot.
I noticed that the Miyagi-Do when they would do their kata, they would do it in limited space, right? They would do it in the little room, or they do it on top of the disc, and so whatever they were planning would not be consistent with being able to move around a lot. But
that's true.
But at the same time, northern Chinese and southern Chinese styles had the same characteristics, because in the South it was more, I don't know if I'm right about this, it was more flat so they could run around and jump around, and in the North it was more mountainous, and so they're I don't know, but you can see how that could also have some sort of
that's interesting. Well,
I don't know if the writers are going that deep.
maybe. Well, I also thought, like, how would you describe your way of sparring? Like, would you describe it maybe like, I don't know, 60% Miyagi-Do, 40% Cobra Kai? How would you?
I've been asked that before, and when I thought about it, I think it would be 60% Cobra Kai. Because the way that I evolved in my sparring, and then being a point fighter, and then boxing for a couple of years, and then I didn't really compete much more out of my 20s, but I still spar regularly, and I try to pretty much take the initiative. I talked about controlling the range and controlling the tempo. And so if you take control of the tempo, you don't have to take control of the tempo, but I would say trying to control the tempo is more, Cobra Kai-ish, because you're trying to take the initiative.
Right. You're making the game itself.
Yeah, making the rhythm, and not controlling the tempo or countering, letting the opponent kind of control that, would be more like a Miyagi-Do, hanging back, let him initiate and then counter. So yeah, probably a lot more Cobra Kai.
I see. Yeah. Now that you mention it, this might go a little bit off topic, but maybe in season 5, when Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang are gonna hopefully merge in a better synchronization, I hope to see Miyagi-Do luring the attack to come in, so like an offensive counter, like not just waiting and then reacting, but to, I don't know, get your guard down on purpose, make them attack here, and jab something and something like that. That's exactly. I guess that's like an offense.
Draw them in, or
yes.
And sometimes I call that the before countering.
Before countering.
Yeah. So right as they go, you beat them to their punch. So you're still waiting for them to initiate, but instead of blocking and then countering, as soon as you come in, I'm there.
Well, before countering. That's a very, I think, there's a Japanese term also called sen no sen, Sen is beforehand, and so sen no is of, so it's beforehand of the beforehand. That's the direct translation. So it's basically the first beforehand stands for their attack. So you're going in before their attack goes in. So it's the before counter that you're talking about. Exactly. And it's the hardest one to pull off. Like these, if you're faster and if you can, react.
Well, that's what it is, right? It's timing and reaction time. Because even as I get older, what I notice in my sparring is that my reaction time is still very sharp, because I can do what you were saying. I can kind of leave my guard down, lay back, but then once I see them start, I can still
I go in.
Yeah, I can still beat them, or I can jam their kick and then go in on top, or something like that. And that's telling me that I still have to jump on them.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that I'm just faster. It means that I have better timing. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like your body's ready and it can move anytime it likes, right?
Yeah, I think
so. But seeing that on the show is hard. It's too fast.
Yeah. It is.
I can't imagine it being shown in such a dramatic way, although it is a very good technique and a very high level one.
Well, I would say that we've seen Bruce Lee do it a lot, right? Because
in movies.
Yeah, when his movies, someone would start to move and he would already, or else they would come in to do a step and round kick and he would back them, right?
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's true. Once if the opponent can add an extra step, then it makes the stunt easier, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. So he steps in and then he does a back hook. So he used his clothes and just cut off line and hit him with a back hook. And in Enter the Dragon, he probably does series. I watched it, over and over, but there's points in his fighting where he may do 4 or 5 back hooks, into different people, right? This one back hook here, then back hook there, back hook there. But his timing was so impeccable that they were all attacking and he was hitting them with back hooks or hook kicks. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, when have you watched Enter the Dragon recently? Have you gone back to watch it?
I didn't. I'll watch it from that perspective.
Yeah, watch it again, because when you'll especially from this before defense type thing, countering, he's just so fast.
I see.
Yeah.
Thank you. Maybe that's going to be my next reaction video.
Your videos get such good viewership. I'm amazed at you.
It's because of season 4. Like I set it up for season 4 basically. So I wanted to release the Cobra Kai reaction videos beforehand, like in the middle of 2021. But then I knew season 4 was going to come up at the end, so I had to wait and publish it at the end. Yeah.
Very good. Very smart.
Right. And I enjoyed it too. So, it's a win-win situation, I guess. And my next question is, besides the fighting scenes, did you have any favorite scenes from season 4 as a show?
Yeah. I mean, I like the, I can't say I like it. I like what the writers have done.
Right.
With Daniel, because to me, he's so conflicted. He can't practice what he preaches, right? He preaches Miyagi-Do, but his attitude is so, I gotta be the top, and we're gonna dominate, and this is the right way. But it's so counter to what Miyagi is really all about. And to me, they've been doing that all since the beginning of Cobra Kai. Even in the first season, you could see that Daniel was more conflicted. But I like the way they continue to play to it. And the kids even see it, right? The wife sees it, and his kids, all call him on it. And Johnny just plays off of it. He's kind of like the innocent idiot, right? Just a dummy sitting over here. He's kind of like more reptilian, more animalistic in his movement and thoughts, but he's more sincere to himself.
I think so. He's pure, right?
Yeah.
His reactions and his emotions.
And so it's such a a counter to where Daniel and Miyagi-Do is supposed to be so perfect, and he's really the more conflicted one of the two.
Do you think? I think in the last tournament scene, when Sam was asking, like in the middle of the match, like which one should I use? Like he mentioned, use whatever you got, right? Daniel said that. Do you think that now Daniel has a new way of thinking that he should be open-minded?
Yeah.
Or
do
you think he just said that so that she can win that situation?
Both. I think he learned the lesson that he's too structured. And so by telling her, do whatever you need to do, was admitting to himself that he's not always right, and Miyagi-Do is not always going to be the best way to do it. And so by encouraging her to do it, he had to accept it. Yeah, in his own.
I see.
And so I liked what they did there.
Yeah. It was I think that was the first time, right, that Daniel changed that much, I think. In
it's the first time that he admitted it, right?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. That's true.
Because all the other times it's, let's fight Johnny. And
I love when he does this. Like, let's go. This one. I see. And Johnny has, been growing up as a father in the last episode as well. And I mean, I actually watched episode 10 last night.
Oh, okay. So you just finished it. Yeah.
So yeah, and Terry, I mean, I watched the ending. I was like, I never expected Terry to end up like that. I thought he was now the good guy, I guess. And then Chris, clicked the button again and turned Terry back into his former, aggressive Terry again. And then now he's got the money, he's got the aggressive mentality.
Yeah.
he's got everything under control. And
well, the funny thing about the whole Terry thing was, of the three Karate Kids, number 3 is one I haven't watched that much. Because I just haven't watched it that much. But I've seen it, numerous times, and the character of Terry Silver was just always so over the top. It's like, why would this billionaire, do this to do with this little kid, under 18?
I know.
A string of dojos, all this stuff. But by bringing him back in season 4, you could go back and say, well, here's that guy, and this is what he's turned into, and it's still him. It's the same guy.
Right.
It kind of legitimized the whole thing, and so he was way over the top in 30 years ago, and now he's a little bit more tempered, but he's still rich. And then at the very end, you realize that he's insane too.
He is insane. That last smile, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, and so can't wait to season 5 and see what they decide to do with all that.
And Chosen is back as well.
Yeah, which was a good little twist there.
Yeah. Like, I guess, I don't know, Daniel must have called him right after the tournament. Come over here. Because he must have lived in Okinawa, I guess, right? From Cobra Kai. So Chosen has now flown all the way to California. I guess evolving Cobra Kai, maybe?
Well,
Cobra Kai and
there's a couple things that can happen there, right? Because when Daniel's visiting the grave site, that's where he sees Chosen, right? But that could easily be a vision if they wanted just to play it off, right?
Okay, that's interesting.
Right?
It's like Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just Daniel, visiting Mr. Miyagi, Chosen, whatever. I just thought about that, but the reality is he shows up, he's there, he's a real person. He's going to ask him for help or whatever. And, because now it's what Silver is taking over Cobra Kai. And so, something's going to have to happen with Billy, with Daniel and Johnny. And Chosen. Right. Johnny doesn't know Chosen.
That's true.
Right, yeah.
So my last question is, which character not the actors in terms of, but which character do you think is the strongest one regarding within the tournament rules?
Oh, you mean for tournament fighting?
Mm-mm-mm.
You know, which character, which is the best fighter? Well, I mean, Hawk won. Yeah. I think Robbie is a good martial artist. I mean, the actor has stepped up, and I think he's probably the best, martial artist, quote unquote, since they're all black belts.
They had the black belt all of a sudden at the tournament.
Yeah.
You noticed that?
Yeah, I noticed that when they all train at Cobra Kai, they all wear white belts.
Right.
But then when they go to the tournament, they're all in black belts.
yeah. That was funny.
But you gotta admit that they've been training for now 4 years or whatever, and so they've got, they probably could be a black belt if they continued and followed a curriculum. And I think Robbie is probably the best martial artist out of the group.
What do you see out of him?
He just, he's a good athlete. He's seems to be the only one who does his stances right.
Oh, stances. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you'll know when you go see their stances. Their foot is turned out.
Yeah. I see. Yeah. Like the footwork and the smoothness.
Exactly. But he tends to see. He looks most like someone who's been training. I don't know. Maybe I'll go back and watch it again now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, when I was watching through the series, I thought Hulk and Robbie, those two were like the most stable ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I mean, Miguel's not bad, but I think Miguel is decent, and Hawk is what you might call I would call him spastic. He's just he's fast, but he's kind of too fast for his own good, right? Yeah, sometimes he's too jumpy or too erratic.
That's true.
Yeah, because you want to be smooth and not and be able to move quickly but not jerky, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Or that I forgot his name. The Asian character in Cobra Kai. He did wrestling.
Kyler.
Yes, Kyler. Yeah. I think he moves smoothly too. I think.
Yeah. He trains obviously.
So, I guess then Cobra Kai is strong after all. so still.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Well, I guess that'll be it for today's video. Thank you so much, Darryl, for coming onto the channel again.
Yep.
And I hope to see you next time. Hopefully, when a new season comes out, or I don't know, somewhere in the future. So thank you guys.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.